We're going to make the cutest little Easter cards today. Something you can pop in the mail to your grandma or grandpa or in your neighbor's mailbox, just wishing them happy Easter. You're going to need some watercolor paper. It's important to use watercolor paper with watercolors because it's a special paper that handles the water well. You'll also need some watercolors, a pencil, and a black pen for drawing afterwards. So you're going to take your A4 paper and fold it in half, open it up, and then fold it across in half again. Now cut along the long side fold so that when you open your card, it's going to open on the short side of the card. So it's a portrait style card, not a landscape, standing up, not across. Now take a scrap piece of paper the same size as your card, fold it in half, and I want you to draw the shape of an egg on it. It's kind of like an oval with a sharper top end and a fatter bottom end. So we're going to draw it only half of it on the one side, then we're going to cut it out so that when we open it up, it's the shape of an egg. Now it may take a bit of practice to do this, but I've made the top of it a little bit flat because we're going to put it on the fold so that the fold opens, and we need that fold to have a bit of the actual fold of the paper on, because otherwise it's not going to open up, is it? It's going to be just an oval with no other side. So I've done this on both of the cards. Just draw around it as a template onto my cards. Now I've done 4 of them, so that I can do 4 little characters on my cards, and I cut them out perfectly so that they're nice eggy shapes. Can you see how I've left the fold at the top? So that when I open up the card, it's going to open up along that fold. Beautiful. Now it's time to draw the designs on the cards. So I've decided to do little chicks, little Easter chicks. So I've drawn a little triangle for his beak, little eyes on either side, a bow for her hair, and I'm doing a little sort of like tutu ruffle around her waist, and some polka dots. So I'm drawing super lightly here. I don't want to draw too hard because I'm going to be painting over this. Next I'll do the little chick's friend, and I draw his little beak and his eyes. I do a little bit of hair, and I make a little bow tie, 2 circles with triangles on the side, and then I make him some stripy pants. Too cute. The next 2 I'm going to make are a little chick with its mouth wide open like a baby chicken, and some eyes, give him some cheeks, some little arms, or wings I suppose those are, little flower, or is that a bow tie in his hair, and a few little feathers on his belly. Now I started to make a bunny as well, so I've started off with a nose, a little mouth, some eyes, and some heart little shaped cheeks, a little round puff for his belly, and some little paws. So those are the little designs that I've started with. Painting time. So what we're going to do is we're going to paint all of the chicken that is going to be yellow with water first. It's very important that with watercolor to have lots and lots of water. That's why we use watercolor paper, because that is able to handle that large amount of water. You can see I've painted all the bits that are going to be yellow with water. I've avoided all the other areas like his beak and her little bow tie. Now I've taken bright yellow and I'm going around the outside of my chicken, my little chick, and around all the little details. And then I've washed my brush and I'm just pulling all that color towards the center of my egg. I want the chicken to look like it's in 3D. And when the outside edges are darker and the middle is lighter, it will look like the middle is getting more light on it and the edges are getting dark on it. So you can see I keep putting paint on the edge, then I wash my brush and I put a bit of water on it. Now the next part I'm going to do is I'm going to test what color I want to use next. I'm thinking what color would I like the bottom part of my chick. I'm testing a few of the colors on my scrap piece of paper. And I'm going around again the whole of the bottom part. I'm ignoring the polka dots because I'm going to paint those polka dots on top of it again. And I'm painting the whole thing with plain clear water. Just a little water, not too much. I don't want it to puddle and make big puddles on the page, just a little bit of water. So now I'm going around, I've picked a light red color. I've mixed a lot of water in with it so that it's kind of making a pink color, because with watercolor, we don't use white, we just use less paint in the water that we use. So the technique we are using today is called wet in wet, because the paper's wet first and then we take wet paint and pop it on top. And it makes it nice and blendy so that you're able to blend it with no lines. It's all like a gentle fade into each other. So that's what I'm doing here. Keep adding water to the spots that I just want the gentle fade towards the middle. Next, I'm going to do the next chick. Same again, wet all the area of the chicken that I want to be painted first. Brush it on, wash, wash, wash. You can see I'm just keep adding a little bit of water. So I'm doing it again all the way around the edges, around the details. I'm putting that yellow paint in. Putting it in, putting it in. And then I'm brushing water, brushing it out, pulling the paint towards the middle, so that it's nice and light in the middle and darker on the edges to make it look 3D, because light always comes from the top and shadows are at the bottom of things. So next we're going to do the bunny, and I've started again. I've painted the whole thing with clear water, nice plain water. It's nice and shiny, not too much. Then I've chosen a lovely pastel blue, going around all the details again and pulling the color towards the middle. Now if I don't like, I think it was a bit too light, so I went around and added another bit of layer. But remember, lots and lots of water. And the same again with the other chick. This chick I've decided to do a little bit of green on the bottom of it. So I've done a fade to green. So I've done green at the bottom, coming up to meet the yellow in the middle, so that it looks like it's faded from yellow to green. Now remember, when you're painting watercolor, you have to let one part dry before you paint the other part. Otherwise it'll all blend together. You won't get nice sharp lines. So I let those parts dry, and I've gone in and now done all the details, the beaks, the ruffle, the polka dots. I'm doing the cute little bows on top of his head. Now I'm going to do his pants. I put a scrap piece of paper between the card to help to keep the underneath from getting dirty. Done all the little cheeks. And remember, let it dry first. Use a hairdryer if you have to, if you're impatient. Otherwise, they're going to bleed together, all your edges. They're looking quite fabulous as they've finished them off. Last bit of painting. Going to do the rest of his pants. Oh, put the paper underneath just so it doesn't wet the underneath layer. And then his bow tie. Now, I probably shouldn't have done that bow tie because it was a bit wet still. And there we go, and I gave it a bit of a hair dry. So I've used a super fine pen called a fine liner to go around all the edges and do the eyeballs and just go around everything to neaten it up a little. Now you'll see I never went around everything. I didn't do the stripes on his pants. I didn't do the polka dots on her skirt. I like the softness of the watercolors, so I didn't go around everything. Also makes it quite cartoony. But don't they look just fabulous? Now I wrote inside one of them, said, "Dear neighbor, happy Easter, love, Tammy." So go and pop one in your neighbor, make their day, especially in isolation. They might not see anyone for their Easters. Now how cute are they? They're just the cutest things. I love them so much. Find an envelope, you can mail one to somebody. How about putting up some string and hanging them along the string as some Easter bunting? Wouldn't that look fabulous? Some of the cards you've made. I'd love you to like and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to. And have a lovely Easter, guys. Remember to tag me in all of your creations. See ya. Bye.